The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for our Technology Commercialization Summer Consulting Program Client Orientation. Just to make sure everybody can hear me okay, if a couple of you could use the toolbar on the right-hand side of your screen to raise your hand, that would be great. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. All right, we'll go ahead. Thank you, Heather. We'll go ahead and get kicked off here. This session should only last about 20 minutes or so. At the end of the session, we will be able to take some questions. So using the toolbar on the right-hand side of your screen, you can type in your questions, and I'll be able to read those off and answer those. And by all means, if you have any questions that you'd like to present one-on-one, feel free to email me those afterwards, and I can get back with you this afternoon. All right, so again, thanks for joining us. Our Technology Commercialization Summer Consulting Program, Summer 2020 Client Orientation. It's hard to believe it's May already. It's hard to tell kind of what month it is these days, let alone what week it is. But we're here in May, and we're about to start kicking off our summer internship program. So pleased that you can join us today and your participation this summer. So this year, our program is in its 18th year. So pretty long history. I started back at the SBTDC in 2001, and at that year kicked off this program. So long history, and in that 18-year period, over 325 businesses have taken part in the program, where 165 interns have gone through the process. And with that, pretty astounding 70,000 hours of service have been provided through those interns to small tech-focused companies in North Carolina. And the SBTDC and university funding kind of collaboration has been in place this entire time. So we're really pleased that our organization and the various universities have continued to see the benefits and the value of this program over the long haul. This summer, the SBTDC is partnering with various universities, including NC State's MBA program, the Duke University MBA and Masters of Engineering Management programs, UNC Chapel Hill's Keenan Flagler MBA program, App State MBA program, and new this year is the UNC School of the Arts. And the School of the Arts intern is going to be working kind of on an internal project, not necessarily client focused, but working closely with the SBTDC about the kind of the value and the benefits of this program. So the intern from the School of the Arts may be connecting with you to kind of get your feedback about the program, et cetera, so that we can use this information going into the future as we recruit interns next year. So what we're going to be talking about this morning is kind of the logistics surrounding your involvement with your intern and your involvement with the SBTDC throughout the 11-week internship. So in terms of time commitment, each student is going to be working with 2 of you, our SBTDC clients, concurrently over the course of the 11-week summer internship. They'll be working approximately 2.5 days a week with each of you. And that should equate to roughly 200 hours of service between your intern with you as a client directly. Oftentimes, interns will work with you to devise a schedule where they work with client number 1 Monday, Tuesday, client 2 Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday might be a flexible day where they're playing catch up and sharing their time between two clients. But we leave that up to you and your intern to figure out what scheduling during the week works best. The SBTDC acts as a mentor for each of the interns throughout the summer. So each student is assigned an individual mentor on my team. And those team members include Nicole Schwerbrock, Mike Carnes, Chris Veal, myself, and Brian Denst. We will be meeting with our interns generally on a weekly basis. Each of the mentors does it a little bit differently. Some mentors will meet their interns as a small group. So each of us has about 3 interns that we'll be mentoring. So some of us meet as a group with all of our interns. Others of us meet one-on-one, Monday mornings or Friday afternoons. But what we do is have in-depth discussions with our interns about their projects, address issues, challenges, help bring to bear additional resources or information that they can use as they're delving into their projects with you. So again, we're keeping in close contact with them and really keeping close tabs on the projects that they're working on, deliverables that they're tasked with, etc. So communication is very, very important. So you can look at me as being kind of the overarching logistical point of contact for the program, but also you have your mentor who in general is the key or the lead counselor that you've been working with outside of this internship program. But you keeping in close connection with us throughout the program is very important. And that can be, sharing good news, sharing updates, sharing challenges or issues that may have arisen. So we don't want you to be hesitant to reach out to us at any time whatsoever, so that we can kind of be that third leg of the stool, if you will, when it comes to making your project as valuable as possible. So communicate with us no matter what. The more open lines of communication that we can have with you throughout this program, the better. Your communication with your intern, certainly scheduling a weekly call or Zoom meeting, webinar, is of utmost importance. So in your first meeting with your intern, some of you may have had your first meetings already, having a dedicated day and time generally works best. So, Monday morning at 9 a.m. or, Wednesday morning at Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m., whatever it might be, having that date and time on both of your schedules is really important. And in that weekly conversation with your intern, you'll be getting, updates on where they stand with deliverables, giving them updates on new information that might be coming into play, having them share, challenges and things that they're working on. So having that 30-minute, 45-minute call on a weekly basis is very important. Certainly, at this point in time, everything is going to be virtual. I honestly, I don't foresee, really much changing between now and the end of the internship in end of July. Really going to be able to allow for, in-person type communications. Hopefully, things will reverse and we'll be able to move to more in person. But I'm highly suspect that that's really not going to happen this year. So going virtual is the way of life right now for all of us. So again, having those weekly calls on everybody's schedules throughout the 11 weeks, very important. Work location, again, likely going to be virtual throughout the whole internship. However, if this virus situation does change, and the way it generally works with this internship program is that if you do have office space that is available for an intern to come, sit at your location, that's certainly terrific. The more kind of one-on-one interaction that an intern can have with you and your entire team, the better. Some clients don't necessarily have office space that they can dedicate to an intern, and that's just fine too. But long story short, if things do change and we're able to move about a little bit more going into June and July, certainly if you do have office space available and you'd like to share that a couple of days a week with your intern, that is certainly recommended and I think appreciated by both you and your intern. Confidentiality, very big and important topic here. Earlier, when we communicated back in January or February, we talked a little bit about this, but just to reiterate, students in our internship program are employees of the SBTDC. And as with all employees of the SBTDC, we're held to a high level of confidentiality. And the interns, when they step in officially next Monday, May 11th, they will be signing off on a confidentiality policy that all SBTDC employees sign off on. And that form is called our Standards of Conduct form. And with that, we expect them to handle your business information really in the same professional manner as all of our full-time SBTDC staff do. So with that, students cannot sign non-disclosure agreements. And the reason for that is because that document would preclude the intern from working with us as their mentor throughout the summer. So we look at this as kind of a group SBTDC counseling or consulting mechanism whereby we're working as a small team on your behalf. So again, all employees, myself, our team members, and all of the interns will sign the Standards of Conduct form. In a nutshell, what that means is that we cannot share information that you share with us outside of the SBTDC family, if you will. We can't go so far as to say that we are working with client X without your express consent to do so. So all of the information you share, as well as the fact that you're working with us, is held in confidence. So with that, students cannot sign NDAs. Project planning. This is the most important task in the first week of the internship. So most of you, I think, have been in connection with your interns so far, and you may have scheduled your initial meeting. If you have not yet communicated with your intern, or they have not reached out to you yet, please let me know ASAP so that I can send a reminder out to the interns to do so immediately. In that initial meeting, or say your initial meeting next week, the goals of that initial meeting are the following. First, you and the intern need to establish what the expectations are of the consulting arrangement between you and the intern, right? Creating a project timeline with deliverables and deadlines is one of the interns' most important, we'll say, deliverables or tasks in their first week. And we'll show a screenshot of the timeline and work plan template that we provide to the interns next Monday in their orientation session that they're going to be using to draft out what their 11 weeks looks like. Again, in your initial meeting, you'll be discussing what your communication schedule is going to look like. Again, Monday morning at 9 a.m. every week over the next 11 weeks, or whatever day and time and method works for you, that should be set in that first meeting. And then, of course, work location. Again, most likely it's going to be virtual throughout the summer, but if things kind of lighten up a little bit going into June and July, having some one-on-one interaction, if possible, is terrific. So work plan, that's the deliverable that we expect and that we're going to expect that the intern is going to share with you at the end of week one. And we want you to put some thought into this with your intern, because this is going to be the roadmap of what they hope to accomplish with you over the summer. So as you can see here, this is a template that we're going to provide to the interns next Monday at orientation. It includes kind of weeks 1 through 11, summary of activities that they expect to take part in for each of the weeks. Included with that is what do they expect the deliverable to be for that week, and then what the progress is. So this is certainly going to be a living document. 11 weeks, although it is a relatively short period of time, some things, situations are going to change within your business. There might be some additions that you would like to add into a project, or deletions that you wish to remove from a project that may have been previously agreed to. So this document, again, is going to be living. It can be changed. But at the very beginning, we like to see that there's a very clear scope of work with very clear deliverables, and that you are in agreement with what the deliverables are, because at the end of the day, these deliverables are going to be things that you're going to be using, whether you're going out to raise additional SBIR funding, or you're going out to launch a product, you're going out to raise equity capital. We want these key deliverables to be well aligned with what your needs are, so that you can plug this information, that's these documents and information that's gathered by the interns, straight into your business, so that they're of immediate value. So again, key goal in week one, work with the intern on this document, just to make sure everybody's aligned, and it really defines a truly valuable set of deliverables. Reporting to the SBTDC. Students will be submitting weekly reports to their mentors, and in those weekly reports, they'll be describing kind of what was done in that particular week as it relates to their work plan. They'll be describing what were the kind of the granular things that they were doing on your behalf, progress made toward the deliverables. They'll be sending to us any deliverables for us to review and provide some commentary and critique on. And that then is used in our conversations with the interns on a weekly basis. So in addition to reporting to you guys directly, they'll also be reporting kind of very granular information to us as well, just so that we can keep track of everything and make sure that everything's on track. We'll be having a total of 6 group sessions with all of the interns. These are not required events for you, the clients, but just wanted to let you know that we are going to have multiple group sessions with the interns throughout. Again, next Monday from 9 to roughly 11, we'll be holding an orientation for all the interns, giving them, kind of going through logistics as we're talking about here this morning. They'll be signing off on various documents, etc. Session 2 will be an introduction to the North Carolina Biotechnology Center's research library resources. So that'll be held on May 18th. That date is yet to be nailed down, but it's likely going to be in the afternoon on May 18th. So all interns will be attending that, and they'll be getting a really good overview of the resources available to them and to you as a client for kind of getting a lot of market research intelligence based on your projects. Some clients, that aren't in the biotech life sciences space, it's not going to be relevant for you, but a number of you are in that space. The third session later in May is going to be, we'll have a project discussion where all the interns come together. We'll discuss projects, challenges that they're having, resources that they've found that could be valuable to other interns. So a lot of sharing. And in that session, we'll also be doing an elevator pitch overview, where we give some guidance on developing an elevator pitch in preparation for session 4, which will be on June 8th, where all of the interns have the opportunity to provide a 60-second pitch for your company. So each intern will have 2 60-second blocks where they do a pitch, and we as the audience kind of provide critique based on their pitch. And this may not, development of a 60-second pitch may or may not be, something that is on their work plan for them to work with you on. But this is something that's really important for any business school student to have an experience with. And we would like them to work with you at some level to share this pitch with you, so that you can then go out and use it going forward as opportunities arise for you to pitch. So it's a fun opportunity. It's a good learning experience for the interns, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of the information that they develop in their pitch going forward. Session number 5, project discussion on July 13th. All of the interns again come back together, likely virtually, to discuss their how things have gone over the summer, what their key deliverables are looking like, and we'll be talking about their final presentations, which will then be coming up on July 24th. And all of the clients are invited to attend the final presentation session. In that, again, July 24th, the interns will be talking for a very quick 7 minutes apiece for each of their 2 clients. They'll be talking about a client overview, again, not sharing much information about who their clients are, but enough to say what the industry is, etc. Work that they conducted on their client's behalf, an overview of deliverables, and the most kind of fun outcome is what were their lessons learned from this internship experience, both personally and professionally. Did they like working in a small entrepreneurial environment? what did they learn from that process? Would they be interested in working with an early stage tech company after they graduate? Would they be interested in starting their own company after they graduate or at some point in their career? So it's always interesting to hear um, what these personal and professional thoughts are that interns have. So a lot of fun. Funding contribution. So as you know, and there are a couple of outliers for you guys. So this doesn't necessarily fit with all of you, and you should know who you are that this doesn't fit with. But the majority of clients are being linked with interns that have a stipend that is being paid um, by matching funds from the SBTDC and the university that they're enrolled with. The stipends will be paid to the interns directly, so you're not involved with any payroll. But for those of you who are in our core program, and again, you should know who you are. Your contribution that we had talked about back in July and February is a total of $500, and that $500 goes towards directly into this program for um, uh, our matching costs. So the invoice for that $500 will be sent to you in early June. Um, and with that, I'll be asking you for, prior to that, what your updated mailing address is, just so that we can have that correct on file. But more on that coming up later in May and early June. But just to let you know that that's how the invoicing process for that works. And again, uh, for most of you, the stipend that's being paid to the intern is going to be handled outside, so you don't have to deal with that directly. So in conclusion, you'll be having your initial meeting with your intern, perhaps this week, and if not, definitely by next week. If you haven't heard from your intern to get that meeting scheduled, email me ASAP, and we'll get that process moving. The work plan that's going to be sent, the template that's being sent to the interns after orientation next Monday, that is their first key deliverable. So we expect them to be working with you to devise what the 11 weeks, in really granular fashion looks like as it relates to work to be conducted and uh, many deliverables throughout the 11 weeks. So that should be that's going to be reviewed by us, and it should be reviewed by you at the end of next week. Logistics, we expect most, if not all, of our discussions to be done virtually. If that changes, we'll certainly, keep you up to speed on whether we can do any internal, in-person meetings. And communication with the SBTDC. I really want to make that clear that, please let us know, if there's good things, challenges that you're facing, lack of communication, whatever it is, let us know early so that, if we need to play a middleman role to get through any challenges that arise, let us know. We certainly don't expect and don't have many challenges that come up, but if they do, they're good to get them ironed out as quickly as possible. So with that, most of you should have my contact information already, but here it is on the screen. My email address is sbir@sbtdc.org. That comes directly to me. If you have any questions at this point, feel free to use the question toolbar on the right-hand side of your screen, and I'll be happy to read those off and share my response with you all. And by all means, if you would like to share any questions with me one-on-one, email me this afternoon, and we can get those answered for you. So let me at this point pull up the questions if there are any. All right, first question, Robert. Will students have an SBTDC email address, and should we provide them with a company email address? Great question. Students will not have an SBTDC email address. Generally, they use their school address. However, there certainly have been cases where clients have been able to provide their intern with a company email address, and that is certainly quite all right on our end, and it should be quite okay with the interns as well. So if you have the ability to set up, quickly set up an email for them, that is absolutely fine. So great question. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions coming up here. Um, we are at 11:30 now, so as promised, we got you out of here in 30 minutes. But by all means, if you have any other questions that you'd like to chat with me one-on-one about, email me this afternoon, and we can get those answered for you. Appreciate your time on this session this morning. Hope everybody is doing well, and we really are excited to be working with you this coming 11 weeks over the summer. So with that, we'll sign off. Look forward to chatting with you again soon, and have a great week. Take care.